Hey guys, Andrea Fasano here for BeTerrific.com, and I know we stepped away from the booth a little bit, but that's because we have so many fantastic guests. We just had to get them all in. So standing here with me now is David from Harper Voyager Books. David, welcome to BeTerrific.com.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what you do as your position as executive editor.
So as an executive editor, I'm looking at manuscripts that get submitted to me, and I'm evaluating them to see, hey, is this something that should be published? Is this something that we want on our list that I want to personally work on, collaborate with the author? And we're always looking for science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And then once I find something that I do like, I pursue it with the agent and the author, and then we start collaborating. I start really giving the author notes, we go back and forth, we talk about cover design, we talk about marketing strategies, and we really try and hone a narrative around how this book is going to get out to the public, how we're going to build an audience for that particular story.
That's amazing. So first of all, before we go further, Harper Voyager is a subdivision of HarperCollins, correct?
Correct. So Harper Voyager is the science fiction and fantasy imprint of HarperCollins, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean, everyone's heard of HarperCollins, huge, huge publishing house. And so if you have science fiction and fantasy, talk about the difference between a book of that type versus what is here today, comics, and the difference between those two.
So, I mean, we're basically focusing on novels, which are, 300, 400 pages long. We do some short fiction, mostly in the novella length, which is about 30 or 40,000 words. But generally, we're not dealing with the visual mediums. It's words on the page. These are going to be books or e-books, and hardcovers, paperbacks, that kind of thing. So that's really the main difference. The medium is the message, and for us, the message is, this is a story that needs a lot of time to be told. Lots of times they're parts of series. So in science fiction and fantasy especially, we're dealing with a lot of like 3 or 4 book arcs as opposed to just one book telling an entire narrative.
Okay, so give us examples of some of those famous ones.
So Harper Voyager is pretty famous for doing fantasy for a long time. So we've done the Kim Harrison, Rachel Morgan books, Richard Kadri and Sandman Slim, Raymond Feist, who's been an epic fantasy author for a long, long time. And then, we're starting to add new voices as well, both on the fantasy side and also kind of spreading more into that science fiction realm as well.
No, I was going to say, that's an interesting thing because we had interviewed some authors and where we actually interviewed another publishing house where the huge question is, how do you become an author to get published without an agent? Or how do you become published when you're an author without an agent? So can you answer that a little bit for us? And do you ever look for work that is not represented by an agent?
No, that's a great question. So we generally take agented submissions. That's the majority of the submissions I get. But part of the thing as an editor, like we'll go to writers' conferences and we'll do like pitch sessions and we might request, hey, that sounds great. Why don't you send me the manuscript? A great thing that we're starting up though is we're going to start having open submissions. And we actually have one coming up in the first week of November. You can go to harpervoyagerbooks.com and it will lay out like what we're looking for. In this case, we're looking specifically for urban fantasy and military science fiction. And it just kind of lays out, this is the guidelines. These are like how we need the document formatted, how you do a query letter, that kind of thing. But there are always avenues for unagented authors as well, whether it's self-publishing, through Amazon or Nook or whatever, or open calls like this.
That's awesome. So have you, I'm sure, been to a Comic-Con before?
Yeah, I think this is my 8th New York Comic-Con, and I went to my 8th San Diego Comic-Con. And I've actually, started branching out. I went to a C2E2 this year in Chicago. I love it. Part of the thing, though, a lot of my friends are like, oh, it's so great, you get to go to Comic-Con. It's like, yeah, but I'm working at Comic-Con.
I was going to say, have all of those times for 8 years been work?
Yeah, so I've actually never come as a fan. I've actually never been to, like, a big, media panel. I'm at panels where my authors are. I've been on panels either talking up our books or like moderating. But so it's a lot of fun, but I don't have time to stand on the lines. We're usually in our booth. We're selling books. We're selling, helping our authors who are in the at the con do signings and stuff like that. So it's a ton of fun. It's beats being at the desk all day.
Absolutely. I mean, we are here in the booth and we're talking to people all day, but I'm thankful that we're over here because people are just coming through and passing by us, so we get to see the parade of costumes and stuff. So.
Yeah, no, that's definitely the best part. It's funny, I think at San Diego we saw less costumes because they were more outside, whereas because New York Comic Con is based in the Javits, everybody's kind of trapped here. So you get to see a ton more. I mean, the Deadpool parade was fantastic. I saw a great Barf from Spaceballs. So there have been some really cool, and they spend so much time and money on them. It's
so
amazing.
Much effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's truly, truly amazing. So who's your favorite comic or superhero?
I always grew up as a Spider-Man guy, so that's what my older brother read. So he had all his stuff in, the Mylar. So me and my next older brother would sneak into his room when he wasn't there and read all his, number ones and whatnot. So I just like the snark. I like, the everyman aspect of it. So right now I'm really digging Saga. I think it's fantastic. And my friend just said I have to read Sex Criminals. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with us. What else would you like to say about Harper Voyager?
I would just say, if you like science fiction and fantasy, and if you're watching this, you probably do, there's something for everyone. I know a lot of people say, hey, I actually don't really like sci-fi, but you look at all the big movies, you look at all the big properties, and clearly that's not true. So go to harpervoyagerbooks.com, check out what we have in store. We've got a lot of new voices, both men, women. We're really trying to diversify in terms of people of color, LGBT authors and stories. So we're just trying to get out as many great science fiction and fantasy stories as we can.
So you're pretty universal at this point, or trying to get there, right?
Exactly.
It's a good place to be. Thank you so much, David.
No, thank you.
And you guys stay right there. We have plenty more coming up at BeTerrific.com. I'm Andrea Fasano. See you in a minute.